Brexit got a second bite at the cherry as Liz Truss backed to push UK-EU talks sooner than expected. Brussels is keen to wrap up its ongoing Brexit battle this year, which could signal an early win for Liz Truss, who takes over the tough negotiations from Lord David Frost. The European Union could hand Britain a huge win early on this year as Brussels scrambles to wrap up the ongoing Brexit negotiations. Political expert Roche said that Liz Truss could be the one to finish off the Brexit rose. Mr. Roche, who writes for a French newspaper, said the EU was keen to wrap up talks before the French presidential elections. With Liz Truss taking over from Lord David Frost and the French election, TV host Sean Leigh questioned whether a deal could be struck. He asked, "Is it possible for a reset of the UK-EU relationship and a more positive one?" Mr. Roche started off by lashing out at Lord Frost's legacy in Brussels. The expert claimed that the Europeans loathed Lord Frost even more than Boris Johnson. He said, "Well, good riddance that Frost has gone. He was hated in Brussels. He was an ideologue. He was saying something different in private and then in public. He was unemotional, he was a cold fish." Liz Truss could be the one to finish Brexit because she is a pragmatist, I think. There is also a lot of goodwill on the European side to solve the issue of Northern Ireland and migrants because Europe wants to move on. There will be a French president, there is a new chancellor in Germany, and there are a lot of challenges to be met, and Brexit is at the end of it. Boris Johnson appointed Ms. Truss on December 19 while keeping her foreign and equalities duties intact. Mr. Roche is not the only one to claim an early Brexit deal could be struck. Simon Coveney, Ireland's foreign minister, insisting that negotiations over the Northern Ireland Protocol, a long-standing issue, can't drift on for months. Mr. Coveney urged a conclusion to the talks by February, before elections in Northern Ireland. DUP leader Sir Jeffrey Donaldson has called on Ms. Truss to provide a clear date for ending the talks. Later in an interview, Mr. Roche also predicted that Valérie Pécresse will beat Emmanuel Macron if the right-wing Les Républicains candidate makes it into the second round. Analysts say Ms. Pécresse poses a formidable threat to the president as she targets his voters on the centre ground of French politics. Mr. Roche said, "She is a traditional right-wing Gaullist and Macron will lose, because part of the left will go for a Gaullist. Macron is hated by the left because he is seen as a president of the rich." The DUP have said there will be major implications at Stormont if the Foreign Secretary fails to swiftly set a formal deadline to end negotiations with Brussels over the Northern Ireland Protocol. Days after the EU's chief negotiator Maros Sefcovic claimed London has breached a great deal of trust with Europe over the protocol, DUP leader Sir Jeffrey Donaldson said Liz Truss needed to provide a clear date for ending the talks. "We need a clear date now. We need a clear timeline in which there is an expectation of real progress or the government takes the action that is necessary," Sir Jeffrey said. "It is crucial that Liz Truss moves this process forward quickly and that we get real and meaningful progress on a range of issues, not least of which is removing the checks on the movement of goods within the United Kingdom internal market." European Commission Vice President Mr. Sefcovic on Thursday said in an interview that problems with the protocol, a way to maintain a free-flowing land border on the island of Ireland after Brexit, meant the UK broke international law in trying to get round the arrangement. Mr. Sefcovic said that he is pragmatic about Ms. Truss taking on responsibility for post-Brexit negotiations with the EU, after Brexit Minister Lord Frost resigned last month. But he warned if Ms. Truss was to trigger Article 16, a move that would effectively unilaterally suspend the treaty agreed between the UK and the EU, it would throw into jeopardy the foundation of the entire deal reached between the two sides. Ms. Truss has said she remains prepared to invoke Article 16 if issues are not resolved. Article